Hello there, I'm Father Mike McDonald. I'm the pastor here at Christ the King Catholic Church in Gearing, way out in the real west of Nebraska. I've been here for about 8 years now, and I've had the opportunity to be the pastor here and to learn from a lot of folks and hopefully to share the message of Jesus and the sacraments with them. After a couple of years of being here, I was not only impressed with our religious education program, but our Director of Religious Education, Mickey Walker, suggested that we have Eucharistic Adoration with the young people. Now, don't get me wrong, I think Eucharistic Adoration is a wonderful thing, but I thought, young people, sitting quietly, even at 15 minutes? But at her insistence, and because I trust her, I thought, let's give it a try. So the first time we did it, we had the young people in here, probably grades 7 through 11, maybe about 50 to maybe 60 young people scattered around the church. I processed in with the Eucharist and placed the Luna into the monstrance and kind of word by word and place by place explained to the young people what the monstrance was, what the Luna was, the importance of the Blessed Sacrament, and what adoration is all about. And then I invited them to either sit or kneel quietly for the next 15 minutes. Now my hesitations were, who does that? Especially not teenagers, sit or kneel quietly for 15 minutes, especially when they don't have their phone with them because we made them leave them out, or because they have their friends around. I was amazed. It took a few minutes for them to calm down and get used to the silence and maybe not pestering or getting pestered by their friends. And as soon as I exposed the Blessed Sacrament and sat in the front pew, I was just amazed at the quietness and the reverence of these young people. In fact, I kind of peeked around my shoulder and almost all of them were still kneeling for those whole 15 minutes. I was a little hypervigilant because I thought, well, I'm going to have to watch these kids. I have to be like the hall monitor. I don't want them to kind of start to get a little restless and make noise. About 5, 6, 7 minutes into the quiet, I heard whispering behind me. And I thought, all right, who's talking, who's whispering behind me? And I peeked over my shoulder, and it was just one, I think, 7th grade young man. And I thought, who's he talking to? And then I realized he's talking to God. I heard him whisper, "It is good for us to be here. It is good for us to be here." I almost fell over in my pew with shock and with amazement. Here, a 7th grader that I thought couldn't sit still for 5 seconds, let alone 15 minutes, was praying out loud quietly on his knees, almost in my ears, saying, "It's good for us to be here. It is good for us to be here." By the time all was said and done, after 15 minutes, we did a benediction, and I had them follow along in the missalette and explain what that was all about. Well, that went so well that we started doing that the first Wednesday evening of every month. And after a while, the kids really looked forward to it. In fact, there was one evening when I had a wake service over in Mitchell, and I couldn't be here, so we didn't have it. And a number of the kids mentioned to Mickey, our DRE, that they missed having Eucharistic Adoration. And I can't help but think that not only was it the presence of God leading them to a deeper faith in the Eucharist and in the church, but that quiet time, that reverence, not only before the Blessed Sacrament, but certainly with other young people. Where else do young people get a chance to sit in quiet reverence and awe with other young people? And I hope and pray that it has helped and does help them. But I have to say, it's helped me more than I can ever imagine. I look forward to it as well, hanging out with young people in quiet and reverence. This year, that Director of Religious Education, Mickey Walker, suggested we try that with the grade school kids. And once I got thinking about that, I thought, no, the high school kids, they were okay, but not grade school kids. They're kind of rambunctious and they can't sit still. But once again, God had other plans for them and for me. The first time we tried it, just at the beginning of this year, once again, I explained things, walked them through it, and asked them to sit or kneel quietly for the next 5 minutes. Not 15, we started with the young people at 5 minutes, the little ones. And it went really well. It went really well. And I hope that we can continue this and that they'll grow in their faith in appreciation of the Eucharist, but also of communal worship, communal adoration, and a deep desire to grow closer to the Lord Jesus. We'll continue doing this. We continue doing it on Sunday evenings now. That's when we have our upper grades for religious ed. It's a wonderful thing, a great tradition to have had started and to keep going here. In fact, sometimes our musicians are practicing on Wednesday nights, and they come early just so that they can be a part of Eucharistic Adoration. Not only to adore the Lord in the Blessed Sacrament, but I think they, like me, get a real kick out of watching the young people pray. There's something contagious about their energy, their spirit, and their dedication to the Lord. So hopefully we can continue with this wonderful sacred tradition, and hopefully they'll grow in faith as they've certainly helped me to do the same.